Hello everyone, my name is Aastha. I welcome you all to our classes for International English Olympiad for class 10th. This is our 10th class wherein we will be doing the topic of adverbs. We will be doing its broad categories, its various usages, when which kind of adverb is used, how do you identify them, etc. We will be doing this through examples and questions as well. Let's get started.
The first question that comes to our mind is what exactly are adverbs? किसी भी टॉपिक को करने से पहले उसका मीनिंग समझ लेना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है और जैसे कि हम करते आए हैं हम इसके थोड़े से एग्जाम्पल्स लेंगे और उन एग्जाम्पल्स में से ही हम इसका मीनिंग डिराइव करेंगे. ऑलराइट, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. नाउ यू सी there's a sentence over here. इस sentence को हम पढ़ें तो it says she looked at her gift happily. अपने गिफ्ट को कैसे देख रही थी? The girl got a gift and she was looking at her gift happily. How was she looking at the gift? Happily. She was happy to see the gift. How did she feel? She was happy and she was looking at the gift happily. Alright? Remember this. She looked at her gift happily. कैसे देख रही थी? How? We are answering the question how here. Okay? Here. Her father rarely surprised her like this. In this sentence, which question is being answered? How often? Means how often did her father surprise her like this? Rarely. So what is the answer here? Rarely. What was the question? How often? The question being answered in the form of rarely. Saying rarely her father surprised her like this. And the question is, here the sentence is, there were balloons everywhere. Okay? So which question is this sentence answering now? Where? Where were the balloons? Balloons were everywhere. So the first one answered how, the second one answered how often, the third one is answering where. Now next, this sentence is, her father got her a gift today. So this sentence is answering the question when. You see, her father got her a gift today. When did he get her a gift? Today. The question being answered is today. The fourth point is when, and her father got her a gift today. There are different kinds of questions being answered in each sentence. Now here you see, she was completely surprised by the gift. Here the question being answered is the fifth question, which is to what extent. मतलब वो किस लिमिट तक, किस हद तक सरप्राइज थी. She was completely, वो एकदम सबसे ज़्यादा, she was completely surprised by the gift. Alright? So completely. To what extent? Completely. Okay? Now, from all this, let's understand what adverbs are. Adverbs जो होते हैं, they describe a verb, adjective or another adverb and answer these 5 questions. The questions जिनके हमने examples लिए थे, how often, to what extent, when and where. So these questions are answered by the words called adverbs. And what do they describe? They describe any verb or adjective or another adverb. इसको हम बेटर अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे। तो हम सारे एग्जाम्पल्स लेंगे और समझेंगे तो आपको बेटर समझ आएगा। The first sentence was, she looked at her gift. She looked at her gift happily. Then the next one said, her father rarely surprised her like this. Third one was, there were balloons everywhere. Then her father got her a gift today. The last one said she was completely surprised by the gift. Now, you see the first question. The first sentence is answering the question how. And आप आइडेंटिफाई करो कि इसमें से कौन सा वर्ड है जो ये क्वेश्चन आंसर कर रहा है. Happily. So what is the adverb here? Happily. Adverb की हमने definition क्या पढ़ी है? Adverbs are the words which describe a verb, adjective, another adverb, and answer any of these questions. How, to what extent, etc. So इसमें कौन सा word answer कर रहा है ये question? Happily. And happily क्या describe कर रहा है? Happily is describing the girl because she was looking at the gift happily. Okay? Now next, the second sentence, her father rarely surprised her like this. Here, the question being answered is how often. How often is being answered by which word? Rarely. Okay. So it is the adverb, because adverbs we know that they answer any of these following questions of how often, when, where, etc. Okay. The third question is where. So in the third sentence, where का जवाब कौन सा word दे रहा है? Everywhere. Where were the balloons? The balloons were everywhere. Okay, so the adverb here is everywhere. The next question being answered is of when. Now when. Her father got her a gift today. When did her father get her a gift? Today. Alright. So the adverb here is today. Because adverbs क्या होते हैं? जो describe करते हैं किसी noun, adverb या adjective को और answer करते हैं questions. तो यहाँ पे आंसर किया है when में. Alright. Now the last question being answered is to what extent. To what extent was the girl surprised? She was completely surprised. She was completely surprised by the gift. Okay. So these are the 5 adverbs. These are the 5 questions जो adverbs answer करते हैं. How का हमें मिला है happily से. How was the girl looking at the gift? Happily. How often did her father surprise her like this? He rarely surprised her like this. And where were the balloons? They were everywhere. When did the father get her a gift? Today. And to what extent was she surprised? She was completely surprised. Okay, so these are the 5 examples of adverbs. Now we will see each category of adverbs and understand through examples. Let's start. So the first type of adverbs that we are going to do are the ones that answer the questions of when. These are the adverbs which tell us about when. Okay, so we will see a few examples like after, already, before, early, now. These are the few examples. We will see them in sentences. Okay, in sentences, she will visit the hospital tomorrow. So, which question is being answered here? When? When will she visit the hospital? Tomorrow. And which word is answering the question? Tomorrow. So, tomorrow becomes the adverb. Next, the results were announced yesterday. Now, when is being answered by which word? Yesterday. So, adverb here is what? Yesterday. Okay, this is the first category of questions being answered. These are the other adverbs which we can use while answering the questions of when. Now, next category. So the next category of adverbs are the ones which answer the questions of where. Let us see a few examples. The adverbs are away, everywhere, here, there, inside. These are only a few examples. Now the examples in sentences, they will meet you there. So the question, which word is answering the question of where? There. Where will they meet you? They will meet you there. Then, where do flowers bloom in spring? The second sentence. The adverb answering the question is everywhere. Alright? So, the second category is where. Now, next. The third category of adverbs are the ones which answer the questions of how. How something is done, how did that happen, etc. So the adverbs which answer the question of how could be easily, happily, loudly, quickly, quietly. Alright? And now these is one of the sentence examples of this adverbs. How do we use them in sentences? He slipped away. How did he slip away? He quietly slipped away. So the word answering the question of how is quietly. So the adverb is quietly here. Another, how does she write? How does she work? She works fast. So the word which is answering the question of how is fast. Okay, this was the third category. Now, another category is the adverbs answering the questions of to what extent. To what extent मतलब किस limit तक, किस extent तक, किस हद तक, enough, extremely, quiet, to, very. These are a few adverbs which answer the questions of to what extent. Now if we use them in sentences, she almost finished the work. To what extent has she finished the work? She has almost finished the work. So which word is answering the question of to what extent? Almost. So almost becomes the adverb. Then they were completely surprised by the windfall. To what extent were they surprised by the windfall? Completely. So the word which answers the question of to what extent is completely. So this is the fourth category. This is the fifth category of adverbs, telling us how often does something happen. Frequency. You see here, okay. So now this is the chart that I have made for so that you can understand how often this for the how often adverbs chart. These are all adverbs, all of these. पर एक टाइमलाइन बना दी है, एक वो बना दी है कि जैसे अगर how often, if there is something that happens never, which means जो 0%, जो कभी भी नहीं होता, then that is never. Something that happens about 5% of the time, मतलब बहुत ही rare chances होने के, तो hardly ever. 10% मतलब seldom, थोड़ा बहुत हो जाता है, occasionally. Then अगर 50% times होता है, 50% times नहीं होता है, तो sometimes. फिर 50% से ज़्यादा बार होता है अगर, तो often, ये मतलब ज़्यादातर यही होता है. And normally 80% times जब से यही चीज होती है तो हम उसे normal situation कहते हैं कि normally this happens. And 90% जब most of the times मतलब कुछ हो रहा है तो usually. And if something happens 100% of the times, then that is always. Okay, so this is the adverbs chart. You can use, अब आप adverbs से आपको एक और advantage मिल गई. Now you know the different kind of adverbs so that you can use them. आप इनको अब use कर सकते हैं जब आपको बताना है कि कितने often कुछ चीज होती है. जैसे आपको पता है often कब use करना है and seldom कब use करना है, sometimes कब use करना है. Okay, so you should add this to your vocabulary. Now we will see the examples. I always wake up at 6 o'clock. Always wake up at 6 o'clock means I wake up at 6 o'clock 100% of the times. मतलब मैं रोज सुबह 6 o'clock उठती हूँ. Then I think there is a mistake here. This is this is A, but this should be an O. I'm sorry for the spelling error. Then I usually come home from work. Usually मतलब 90% of the time. Usually I come home from work. Maybe rare chances में like 5-10% of the times work के बाद कहीं और चले गए. But 90% of the time come home from work. I usually come home from work. So कौन सा words हैं जो आंसर कर रहे हैं questions of how often? Always and usually. So ये हैं हमारे adverbs. Okay. So now let's move on. This was the 5th category. We have done 5 categories. Alright, so summarizing all the adverbs that we have done until now. The adverbs which answer the question of when are called adverbs of time. The ones which answer the question of how are called the adverbs of manner. The ones which answer the question of where are the adverbs of place. The adverbs which answer the question of how often something happens or happened, they are called the adverbs of frequency. And the adverbs which answer the question of to what extent something happened or happens, they are called the adverbs of degree. Alright. Okay, now there are these two broad categories, two more broad categories. One is the adverb of evaluation. They help in evaluating something in the sense like through an example, if I tell you, hopefully, honestly, clearly, apparently, etc. So if we, these kind of adverbs, they help in sort of evaluating the situation and giving an opinion. Okay, so here, frankly is an frank evaluation, and the opinion is a frank opinion. So frankly, I don't think this plan will work. Alright, so this is an adverb of evaluation. Another one we have is conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs, what do? They act as a sort of conjunctions, in the sense they help in joining two sentences, like accordingly, namely, additionally, further, hence. Okay, these are conjunctive adverbs. Like an example we have here. Furthermore, I would like to stress on the importance of renewable energy. So furthermore is sort of acting like a conjunction. Here accordingly, namely, additionally, these are the conjunctive adverbs. Alright, and there are of course more. So there are these two more categories. One is these conjunctive adverbs and the other was the adverbs of evaluation in addition to the five we've already done. Okay. Alright, so for the quiz, what we will be doing is, now every question you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute means 60 seconds. Why am I giving you 1 minute? Because you see, your question paper of IEO, it has about 50 questions, and so you can imagine that you get more or less a minute to answer the questions. Now this 1 minute is the maximum that you should be taking for answering the question. Now suppose there could be two, three categories of students. First category is, suppose you answer the question within that 1 minute. So I would request you to fast forward the video and skip right to the answer. You should not be wasting your time. Alright. Now the other students who are not able to answer the question in 1 minute, what you do, you don't skip to the answer. You pause the video and you write down your answer. Alright, it is very important to answer each and every question because there is no negative marking. Here you see, for every incorrect answer, no points because there is no negative marking in IEO. So it is important that you attempt all the questions. Now for a question of which you are not sure about the answer, now even here and even in the exam, if you are not sure about the answer and you maybe think that B option might be correct or C option might be correct, so you should in that case play your luck and play your mind and make a guess and still give an answer, because it is a win-win situation. Either you will get the marks for that question or you will get a 0, right? But if you don't attempt that question at all, then you are anyway getting a 0 in that, right? So it is good to attempt those questions, and even if you don't know all the answers, try to understand and take a guess. Okay, so this is for every correct answer 10 points. This is just for your own little game where you can try to maintain a notepad. So here you write the name of the chapter and then the question, and then if it is correct you can give yourself 10 points. If it is not correct, you mark it here. So it is important to see these questions, the ones which you mark incorrect. It is important to go back to them later and then see where you did the mistake. Alright, this is just for your reference. For every correct answer you can give yourself 10 points. Alright, now let's start.
Alright, so now we start off with the questions on adverbs. The first category of questions say, choose the adverb in the following sentence. Alright, what were adverbs? The words which answer the question of anything like how much, to what extent, how, to what extent, when, where, how often, like that. So let's see. Here it says, I will probably be able to see my friend after work. Options are will, see, probably, able. Okay, so here the correct answer is C, probably. The others you see, will is a verb conjugation. Then see again is what? A verb. And able to be able to do something, that is a verb, but otherwise able is an adjective. Okay, next up we have, do they usually read their lessons in the evening? Usually lessons read evening. Here the correct answer is A, usually. Adverb is what? Usually. Others we have lessons. Lessons is what? A noun. Read is the verb and evening is again the noun. Okay, here we have fill in the blanks with the most suitable adverbs of the highlighted or bracketed words. Okay, the speaker looks angry. The highlighted word is angry. He is banging the table, dash. Angry, angrily, angered, none of these. The highlighted word is angry. We have to form a suitable adverb of the highlighted word. So the answer is the speaker looks angry. He is banging the table, angrily. Angrily, the adverb of manner, answering the question of how. Okay, next up, Terry is a dangerous driver. He drives dangerous, dangerously, both A and B or none of these. The highlighted word is dangerous. Dangerous is an adjective. He is a dangerous driver. He drives B. Dangerously. Adverb of manner again. Okay, next up, Jatin was very rude. He answered the teacher rude, rudely, both A and B or none of these. Jatin was very rude. The highlighted word is rude. He answered the teacher B, rudely. Adverb of manner again. Okay, next up, you are very slow. If you walk so dash, you will miss the bus. Slow, slowed, slowly or none of these. You are very slow. If you walk so slowly, see, you will miss the bus. Slowly is the adverb. Here slow is again a verb. It is an adjective. Slowed, slow something down. Slowed, it's slowed down. That can be a verb. Okay, next up we have there was a serious accident on the road yesterday. A car hit a boy who was injured dash. Who was injured serious, who was injured seriously, who was injured seriousness or none of these. There was a serious accident. The highlighted word adjective serious on the road yesterday. A car hit a boy who was injured B seriously. Adverb other serious is an adjective, seriousness is a noun. Okay, next up we have she is very careful. She reads the text dash before answering. Careful, carefully, cared or carefulness. Here the correct answer, let's see, she is very careful. Careful is an adjective. She reads the text carefully, be before answering, adverb. Careful is an adjective. Cared is a verb. Then carefulness, that is a noun. Okay, if the work is not done, you get your money back, dash. The word is automatic. Options are automatic, automated, automatically, or none of these. The correct answer is C, automatically. You get your money back automatically. Automatic is an adjective. Automated is another adjective. Yes, adjective. Okay, here the exam was dash easy. The word here is surprise. Options are surprises, surprised, or surprisingly, or none of these. Correct answer is the exam was surprisingly easy. Here surprises, now you know surprise is a verb, so surprise is the simple present form, surprised the past form. Okay. Okay, next. The firemen at the Taj Hotel fought dash to put out the fire. Fought heroic, fought heroically, or fought heroism, or none of these.
The fireman at the Taj Hotel fought. Here, B. Heroically is an adverb. Heroic is an adjective. The others here you see heroic adjective. Heroism is a noun. Okay, next up we have Rohan is dash late for work. He is a very dedicated employee. Rohan is seldom late for work. Rohan is always late for work. Rohan is clearly late for work, or Rohan is very late for work. Okay, so here which one fits? Rohan is seldom late for work. Seldom late, because we are doing it as per the demand of the question, right? Even the question in the sentence has to make sense. So Rohan is seldom late, which means it is the adverb of frequency, answering how often. Rohan is seldom late. It means बहुत कम late होता है, and he is a very dedicated employee. Okay. Then we have, although Megha knows 3 languages, she did not perform dash in the language exam. Did not perform ever, did not perform well, did not perform careful, did not perform goodly. Correct answer is did not perform well in the language exam. Adverb of manner. Okay. Alright, here we have I dash go for a walk in the morning. I forever go for a walk in the morning. I well go for a walk in the morning. I ever go for a walk in the morning, or I usually go for the walk in the morning. Correct answer is I usually go for a walk in the morning. Adverb of frequency, answering the question of how often something happens. Okay. So others, forever, ever, these also could be the adverbs of frequency. Well is an adverb of manner. Alright. So with this we finish off our questions on adverbs. This was the last question.
That's all for a class in adverbs. I hope you will go back and revise all these concepts. Keep revising and keep learning. I will see you the next time. Thank you for watching.